Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today, and this is a requested video that I'll be doing. As you can see, I'm no makeup on this face, and this is big for me to be in this mirror with no makeup in this camera. But this is a requested video of makeup for beginners, and I do understand that a lot of women have just not gotten on the makeup train, and that is okay because it took me a little bit to kind of understand how to do makeup and feel comfortable wearing it out in public. And it also took me a little bit of time to find the products that work for me, work for my skin, and just did the kind of job that I needed it to do. So this is a clean face. I've actually washed it. You can see there, my skin is not perfect, and you can also see that there is some hyperpigmentation in my skin, and I've also had issues with my skin growing up and being a teen, and just really bad acne. But I've definitely have come a long way, and I can overcome a lot of things just by taking my time and putting a little work and effort into my skin. So since I've washed my skin, and guys, I use this right here, the Aveeno Positively Radiant Brightening Cleanser. I love this stuff. It is brightening to me. It usually takes me a little while to get through this bottle. Love it. I'll link that below. Also, one of my favorite things I use for my skin to exfoliate my skin is a Vitagood spin brush, which is one of my favorite things. It doesn't have to be a very expensive brush, but it can be something that is comparable for your budget. And this is comparable for my budget, and it still does an amazing job. First thing that we're gonna do is I use the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. And guys, it doesn't take a lot of that. This is something you can find at the Clinique counter in the mall. Any Clinique counter, you can find this. I love this stuff. I'll always use it. Clinique does a really amazing job with their product. And I'm gonna tell you now, excuse me for any faces that I may make during this makeup for beginners video. But once again, you're in my personal space. But I just get this all over the skin. I have gotten my hair out of my face just so you can see my whole face. And once I do that, I take my Mario Badescu. I talked about this in my very first video. My Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. And I give myself a spritz of that. I tell you guys all the time, the smell of this stuff is amazing. So the foundation that I'm actually gonna use in this video is my Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless Foundation, and I actually in the color 330 Toffee Caramel. This foundation to me is very comparable to the MAC Studio Fix foundation, and my color in the MAC Studio Fix is NC45. And in this color, I'm the 330 Toffee Caramel. I love this stuff. It's amazing, it's affordable, it works in my budget, and it gives me good coverage. So I'm actually, in this is a primer for me. I'm not gonna put any primer underneath. This does enough for me, but there are primers that you can use that can go under after this, and then you can put your makeup on your foundation. I'm not gonna put the foundation on first because that's kind of like backwards for me. I'm actually going to do my eyes first because if there's any fallout from eyeshadow, once I do my foundation, that all kind of even itself out. So I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color 25. And you know, this is another one of those very affordable products that I think does a wonderful job. And guys, I'm gonna put it here on my eyes, the concealer. And this is so I can have the power of the eyeshadow stay in place. And if you've never done this before, this is a great trick for eyeshadow and getting your eyeshadow to kind of stay put and stay where it's supposed to stay. Okay, so I'm taking my little sponge here, and this is actually another drugstore favorite of mine. It's a sponge by Real Techniques. And that's a brand, and they have really nice makeup brushes. I love their beauty sponges. And actually, this sponge is a little bit damp. I wet this sponge, and I'm gonna smooth out what's on my eyes. And I'm just using any side of the sponge. And I'm gonna say ahead of time, guys, I am not a makeup professional. I've had to learn. I have not been to any schools or anything like that. I've had to learn how to do makeup like any other person that learn how to do makeup. And I know a lot of women don't like wearing eyeshadow because it can be very intimidating. But I don't want you to feel intimidated. But the first palette that I'm gonna go with is the Shade Light Kat Von D Eye Contour Palette. And this is actually just some of your basic colors that you have in here. These are nothing but matte shades in this palette. I love the matte shades because they pack a lot of power. I love the depth in the palette, that she has your darker colors. She also has your light, your light shades. And I'm actually gonna go into this shade right here to just kind of go all over the eyelid with. And I'm actually gonna take a Real Techniques brush, and this is a domed shadow brush, a domed Real Techniques shadow brush. So I'm gonna go here into this light color, and I'm just gonna go all over the eye. And once again, this is me putting the concealer all over my eye. It's just gonna help lock in those eyeshadows and do what they're supposed to do and not have them move, because if you do all of that hard work, you don't want the eyeshadows to have to move or go anywhere on you or do anything, but just stay right there where you stuck them at the beginning of your day. And this is kind of just like my shade that just gonna help move the colors where they should be and just make everything look uniform so that it's not all splotchy and skipping and doing all of that. So once I got this on, I'm actually gonna put this brush down, and I'm gonna take a smaller brush of mine, and it's actually not a Real Techniques brush. This is actually a blending, this is a Sigma brush, a brush by Sigma. It's a brand, as you can see, it's been through God knows what. And this is an E25 by Sigma. And actually I got this brush free. It came in when I purchased another Sigma brush, I got this brush free. So I'm still in the same palette, and I'm actually gonna go into this shade right here on the very end. And guys, you don't have to get this palette. This is not one of those beginner videos like, oh, I have to have that palette in order to achieve this look. No, I'm just gonna use this as a transition shade. I'm gonna take this color and use it as a transition shade in my crease. I'm not gonna go way up here with the shade. When you put your lids down, this is your crease right here where the little folds of your eyes are. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna dip that color in there, and I'm gonna go right into my crease with this. And notice that I'm going all the way over into the crease. And this is my transition color. I'm just adding a little color. I'm not doing anything wild because I don't want this to become a video like, oh my God, I cannot do anything that she's doing. And that's not what I want you to walk away with. So here, I'm going into the crease, and I'm gonna stay right here in the crease. And I'm just blending, blending, blending. And that's what eye makeup and eyeshadows are all about. It's just blending. I mean, stroking it back and forth, and feel comfortable doing this. And I go back and forth, and I, even put it in circles at times to go across my lid, just because I want the colors to look the same on both eyes, and I want the same amount of color going throughout fluidly in my crease. Okay, so here I have the transition shades. I'm gonna dip back in there just a little, and then I'm gonna go back into that crease again. But see, having that transition school teacher moment, having this transition shade on first, the first light color I went into, this one right here, this was kind of like setting the road for the rest of the foundations. So I'm dipping back into this. And guys, I love wearing makeup. Do I wear it every day? Absolutely not. Is it something that I like to do every day? Absolutely not. But it's definitely, you know, something that I love to wear and get into when I'm doing makeup. So as you can see, here I have, and I don't want this to become too difficult, so this is why I don't want this tutorial to be overwhelming for anybody that would like to start trying eyeshadows. I just want this to be simple, and I'm not gonna do wild looks or things like that. Well, that can come later when we've mastered all of this. But I've been doing makeup for a little bit, and I definitely watch a lot of YouTubers, like I said before. They are my guides, and they are the people that I kind of look at or after to see what they're doing, and you know, learn a lot from them. And so it's exciting to be able to master some of these things that those ladies are doing, those beautiful ladies are doing. So the next color that I'm actually gonna change brushes. I'm gonna put this brush down, and then I'm gonna pick up, this is actually a e.l.f. blending brush by e.l.f. and it's a really compact looking brush. If you notice, that is really compact. And I like that because it's gonna just put the color right where I need it to go. And I just love it right here in the corner of my eye. And so I'm actually gonna go in, if you notice that I've kind of hit pan on this color here, and I usually like those colors right here at the corner of my eye, and not to go any further because I'm just deepening the color right there. I'm only gonna go a third of the way into my eye. I don't want that dark color all over my lid unless I'm trying to do a smoky eye. So for me, I just kind of leave it right here in the corner, and I just brush it into that crease as much as possible without the crease being too harsh. So here, I push it into that crease. Notice that I'm stopping about right here. So I dip back into that dark color. It's more like a fudge or something to that nature. But notice that it is just right here, and that's about as far as I'm going. And I bring that onto the lid is just a little bit, because there is a lower crease color that we're gonna put on here that is one of my favorite colors, a lower lid color that we're gonna put on here that's one of my favorite colors. And so here I am bringing it down onto the lid. Okay, and so I'm gonna take actually I'm gonna go back with this brush, and I'm going to just brush on top here towards the top, just to make sure that this is blended, because you don't want this to be harsh and it comes off not looking so well. If you notice that I have some blush not blush, I'm having some school teacher moments. If you notice that the eyeshadow has kind of fallen out right here on my eye, and that's okay, because that is why I choose to do the foundation after I do my eyeshadow. And people do it different ways. There is no right way to doing eyeshadow. So don't think that my way is law or that you did it wrong if you decided to put on your foundation before you did your eyes. And I could actually go into this color right here to kind of do my eyes, or even this softer color, this little bit beachy color. I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna go with more of a pinky color, just because I just like the way it comes out. And guys, you're gonna hear me kind of digging. My makeup bag can be a little bit of a mess, but don't let this stop what we're doing, this progress. Okay, now I think I talked about this in another video. This is one of my favorite shadows. It's by CoverGirl, and it's called Copper Fling, and it is in the number 325. It's actually CoverGirl's, it's dirty. Ooh. It's actually CoverGirl's Bombshell Shine Shadow, and this is where your trusty old finger comes in handy. And I just take this and put a little dot on my finger, if you notice. And then I just stretch my eye a little bit, because guys, your fingers will do just as good of a job as anything else. okay? So I put this on my lower lid, just like this. And you notice that it's giving the lower lid a little color, okay? And it's just one of those colors that I like. It's super transitional, really, really pretty. I do like to pack it on because remember, this shadow is gonna last me all day, and it will sit still all day, literally. So don't be afraid to, you know, use your fingers and, you know, pack it on with your fingers, and that is fine. So don't let that kind of slow you down or anything like that. So we're gonna put that in, and then I'm gonna go back in with my Sigma E25, and then I'm gonna blend. And guys, I'm back to this blending. And please do not think, man, this is a lot of work just for some eyeshadow. Don't think that, because it's not. So I love makeup, it's my thing. I'm gonna go back in to pack in that color a little bit that I may have lost. So here I am, packing it back in. But I definitely don't want you ladies to be afraid of just trying something new and getting out of your shell and just being bold and, you know, living life as it comes and not out of fear. You know, today I was in church and it talked about how sometimes God wants us to take the long way around, and a lot of times we want that microwave response, when all of the times we don't get that microwave response, and we have to kind of listen, follow what God is trying to tell us, because his way may be a whole lot better than our way. But, and I'm definitely not preaching, but I'm definitely sharing. It's always great to share. I'm gonna take my foundation, the Fit Me foundation in 330. So now I'm kind of just sitting on my eyes right now. I'm not doing anything else to them. But I need to get this foundation, and I'm putting this on the back of my hand. And I'm not putting a whole lot of this foundation because it doesn't take a lot. And if you notice how much I have here on my hand, and I'm gonna take my Morphe M439. This is on the Morphe website. If you go to morphe.com, and I'll also link this brush below when I do when we edit it. But I just take this brush. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes. Another one of my faves, and I mean absolute faves, is this Tarte Kabuki brush. And this is one of my favorite brushes for a foundation as well, because it just puts it on so nicely and evenly. But here, I'm just gonna pack the foundation on just like this. And guys, when I say this foundation really gives good coverage, it really gives great coverage. And I am naturally oily in my T-zone, and I tend to get oily throughout the day. It's not immediate, but I think that's a natural thing with makeup, period. And that's why I choose the matte foundation. In the summertime, I definitely love it being more matte, because I do tend to get hotter in the summer. And guys, you can't put it on your lips. Please don't be afraid to do that. But I do love the quality of this foundation and just what it does for my skin. And it just tends to do great coverage for me and does a really good job for anyone. So I definitely want you guys to look at it that way. And then I'm gonna go back in with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I'm gonna just tap, 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 tap. Let's not go crazy with this stuff, because It is concealer, but I go all the way up so that I'm cleaning up any debris that I have under my eye, and this is just lightening me up too. So, and I know some of us have those dark circles. Some people have mentioned that to me. So we have those dark circles under our eyes, and I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and I'm just gonna, and it is damp, and I'm just gonna blot this away or even it out. Forgive my faces if you guys see me making faces. But I'm gonna blot this away. And even myself, you know, I'm not so much get the dark circles, but I do get those bags under my eyes, and that shows that I'm very tired. And so I'm gonna go back with this Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm gonna dot right here, and just dot right here, and then I'll just dot right here, okay? But once again, don't go wild with it. So I just want my face to seem like that it's not, that there are areas of lightness, but evenness, and that the makeup is just smoothly done and not just blotted onto my face in such a way that there is no system to it. So once I've done that, I spoke about this in one of my videos recently. My favorites is this air spun, and this is to me kind of comparable to the Laura Mercier powder, translucent powder. I really like this. This is very affordable. I feel as though that this is something that a lot of people can use. I want to say this was under 10 bucks in the local drugstore. I actually used the little, as you can see, I used a little powder thing that is in my case. I dump a little of this out, just a little bit, that's all it takes. I fold this like this, and now I'm just gonna kind of bake this powder under my eyes, and this is actually just gonna leave my eyes bright. I'm actually gonna leave this here while I finish the rest of my face until I'm done. And guys, I'm not gonna do as much as you probably think that you see other people doing. This is basics. This is not to scare you. This is not to make you feel like, oh, I just cannot do this. I'm gonna stay without no makeup and go the rest of my life without it. And I'm not going to attempt to do any of that stuff that she's doing. That's not what we want. We want you to at least try. I'm actually gonna use this Wet n Wild contouring palette. Cheap, once again, drugstore foundation, drugstore buy, love it. Wet n Wild, they're coming up in the game with a lot of their foundations and makeup and pencils and shadows, and that's actually gonna be one of my next videos of Wet n Wild shadows that I've kind of purchased and I really like, and you guys, I think, would like to see them too. And they're very affordable. So I'm actually gonna take this palette right here, and I'm gonna take this e.l.f. brush, and I don't know the number on this particular brush, but this is an e.l.f. brush, and I'm gonna go into this dark shade right here just to contour just a little. And basically, I'm just carving this out right here. Just carving it out. And just be gentle with this. You don't have to, you know, do this. I'm using the top of my ear, and I'm going just like that in the line. You see, I'm going through the top of my ear, and I'm going right here in this line. And I'm gonna do the other side. And this is something that you don't have to do this. This is something even myself have learned to do over the years with makeup and just showing that my skin, you know, the contour of my skin and not having harsh lines, because I don't like the harsh lines that this leaves if you put too much of this. And because I have that, I'm gonna go back in with the air spun, and I'm going to carve this out right here. And I'm doing this so that this stays. So yes, you can see I have, it's kind of like what we call baking. They call this baking, and lightening up that area, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's okay it just makes the makeup look a whole lot better, and it just makes the makeup come out so much nicer when you do something like this. So since we're waiting on while I'm baking, I'm actually gonna use, I would prefer at times, I use two different, when I'm doing just a regular basic going to work look, I use two different eyeliners, and one is just a basic black eyeliner, which is probably 62 cents for this. And then I use a brown one as well. And since my look, I use the brown, guys, I use this on my eyebrows, and I'm not big on the, you know, trying to get these super carved eyebrows. Like, there are some girls out there that can do this in such a way that they need an award, seriously, for doing this. But I'm just gonna go in with this black eyeliner. Usually I'll use a white one or this black one, and if I'm feeling daring, I will go with another color that's on my lid. But I've used all colors. I've used blue, I've used purple, I've used different colors. But like I said, I'm keeping this extremely basic so that you don't feel like this is gonna be just too hard for you. So basically, I'm going to my waterline, and I'm just gonna drag this black eyeliner pencil on my waterline. I'm not going all the way to the corner. My tear duct is in that corner. And sometimes I find that when I go over my tear duct, that starts to run a little bit. Oh, excuse me. That starts to run a little. So I'm just gonna go from the corner. And that is it. And then there you have it for that particular eyeliner. So I'm not gonna do a wing liner just because, once again, that's in another video, because I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed with what I'm doing here. Guys, I'm going in with a basic e.l.f. mascara. I'm actually gonna use two mascaras. In my next video though, I'll show you how to, I'll show you lashes. And I do wear lashes at times, different times. But when I'm going out just on a basic day to work or something like that, or going out just with a couple friends, I'm not putting on lashes. But I already have curly lashes. My lashes have a natural curl pattern. So basically, I'm just putting this mascara on my lashes, as you see. I don't tend to have to curl my lashes a lot with the curler just because they're naturally curly already, and they sometimes have a mind of their own. Oh, there I go, making that face. Okay, so this is just one mascara. Now my favorite mascara of all time is this L'Oreal Paris Double Extend Mascara. Oh my God, this stuff is so good. Okay, so it has a, I wanna say like a lifter. This one is almost out, I'm ashamed. It has like a lifter on it, like it has a gel, and it's a lifter. If you can see, it's white, and it goes on white. But as you can see, it just lifts those lashes to no end. Like, I'll be so proud of those lashes when I use this. And it does dirty the wand a little, and I clean it before I put it back in the tube. I give it a good wipe. And on this side is the mascara that, and I kind of wipe it off so I'm not getting all this excess debris on my face. Like I said, my lashes are pretty long, and I don't have to do a whole lot with them. But I love, love, love this mascara. Okay, so now that this has been baking and sitting here, I just noticed that my skin is starting to do something different now that I have on that this has been baking for a while. So I'm gonna take a Real Techniques brush This is a powder brush, but I use it to take off this extra. And it makes that a little bit more defined. And as you can see how my skin is acting now versus when I first started, and how there were discolorations, and how that makeup by Maybelline Fit Me, the Dewy Smooth Foundation, does a really, really good job on my skin. And I find that it is a very good drugstore foundation for the price. And I want to say it's 1 fluid ounce, which is 30 mils. And it's for normal to oily skin. And I use it a lot. I love it. It's one of my faves. If I'm going to go, I normally, like I said, I'm not going to go too far from a drugstore look and using all drugstore foundations, but let's see. Let's find, okay, wait a minute. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the e.l.f. blush palette. I talked about this in another video. If you can see, these are some pretty strong colors here in this palette, and they show up really well. I'm actually gonna take my Real Techniques multitask brush. I've been using this for a while. Looks like it needs cleaning, but I'm actually gonna go into this color right here. Really not into any shimmer. I don't really wear any shimmer. And guys, this palette is under $6. Anybody, any color can wear this blush in this palette. And I usually don't wear this until I'm going out at night when it has to show up. But I'm gonna take from this color here, and I smile. And I'm just getting right here on the apples of my cheeks. Okay, so that is it for that. And as far as my, I just take a gloss. I don't normally do a strong lip color unless I'm going out at night. But to go to work, I'm only gonna go with the gloss. And glosses work for me. And always know that, you know, a lot of the times when you have an eye look like this, going with a lighter color probably works a little bit better. I've heard different stories, different things about how people prefer to do their looks. Nowadays, it's whatever anybody's doing against the norm. Some people go with dark eyes and go with a dark lip. Yeah, we're stepping out of the box in 2018. But for me, I would prefer, since my eyes are a little bit on the darker side, especially now if I smoked out my whole eye and then I know that I'm gonna have a lighter lip, or I may decide to go with a less of an eye and a darker lip, and that's something that you can kind of play with versus what you like. But don't be afraid of color, don't be afraid of trying new things. Like I said, this is actually from the shade Light Kat Von D. This is what I use for this look. And only this palette, you can tell in some of the colors that I hit pan on them. I also use this e.l.f. blush palette, one of my favorite low cost palettes, $6. All of the brushes that you see me using in this video are drugstore brushes, except maybe one, which was the Sigma brush. You have to order that one online through the Sigma company. And this also was the Clinique. This is at the Clinique counter that you can find this moisturizing lotion. Like I said, I usually put a primer on after I put this on, but this tends to do the job for me and my makeup tends to stay put. I try not to introduce my skin to too many different products because it can kind of act silly with me at times. So this is something that I've been using for quite some time. My sister is also a big advocate for the Clinique. That having the Airspun foundation is something, the loose face powder is just definitely something that I found to be very comparable and does a really good job and kind of packs a punch for the price for me. And before I kind of end this, I'm gonna go back with this Mario Badescu spray. I really like this because I can give myself a spray. Hey, have your mouth open. Why are you trying to say that and spraying? I give my makeup a spray just to make it stay in place, and it really just takes a few pumps around your face, and you're thinking, especially for beginners, oh my God, why are you spraying that wet stuff on your face? That is just to make the makeup stick in place, make it hold, make it stay where it's supposed to stay and do its job for the rest of the day. And once again, the Wet n Wild, get your hands on that if you can. This color right here, I think it comes in a couple of other shades. And I want to say, don't forget about the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. I'll link that down below, so you can definitely grab you one. And as we keep going and we figure this beauty thing out, especially for beginners, I definitely don't want you guys to feel like this is just too much or this is overwhelming for me. Definitely don't feel that way. I want you to walk away feeling inspired and feeling like you can take over the makeup world. So it's always good to bring you guys back into my personal space. But until our next video, I'll see you again soon. Bye.